Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So, this is just a quick introduction about uh, what is Vanima platform, who are the founders, and why did we started this project. So, let me start with the founders part. Ghanima platform was started by me, Muhammad Faisal. I've been working in North America and EU for the past 20 plus years now. As a CISO, as a CIO, as a CTO, as a Chief Security Officer, Chief Information Security Officer, as a Chief Security Architect, so on and so forth. I've worked in different industries, you name it, like healthcare, aviation, as a consultant, and as as a C-level executive in the financial sector, um, in the SCADA, ICS, industrial sectors, various organizations. Then also within the telco side. So essentially, pretty much I've touched all the key sectors within the Europe and I would say and in North America. That has been my primary business, my primary experience, like in terms of working in all of these, these two continents and many organizations. The second founder is Tariq Mahmoud. He is based in Kuwait. I'm based in Canada. He's based in Kuwait. And he has been working for the past 40 plus years now. He started his career in the information system side long time ago and has been working and has worked with all the big four organizations. I've also worked with the big four organizations as well, like the big four consulting, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, EY. And he has worked with all these big four consulting organizations as well. And for the past many years, he has been working, in Kuwait uh, for the Kuwait Petroleum. So if you go to our website, ghanima.com, and if you go to the About Us section, you will see that, why did we started this thing? What does the name signifies? The spoils of war. And I will put some perspective on that as well. In short, so this is me, Muhammad Faisal, the main founder. Then we have Ishraq Ansari. He's the second co-founder. Then we have Tariq Mahmoud, the CEO of the organization. As I said, like he's been working for the past 40 plus years in ICE audit, ICE consultancy, software solutions. I mean, all over the globe. Kamran Hassan is the co-founder also. He's very instrumental in terms of like as a chief technology officer, in terms of making sure that our infrastructure, our cloud, our technology, our labs are up to par. Uh, then we have Huzaifa Ahmed. Huzaifa Ahmed, he has experience as an experienced data scientist. He is the chief data scientist within the organization, and there's a lot of data. So I will correlate to that later on. And then Muhammad Ali, he's the resident director of cybersecurity. Then we have many cyber sicarios. Sicarios means like, I would say, I believe it means like hitmans in Spanish. So we have Ahmed Ali Khan, SCADA cyber specialist. We have Muhammad Abdullah Tariq as a cyber R&D analyst. And then we have director of network and architecture, a CCIE guy, Muhammad Hamid. He's in Portugal. So the team is based. Yasser Salim, he's in UAE. Mohammed Zain, he works for PwC in Australia. So you can see Sakim Malhi is also in Australia. Shoaib Siddiqui works for, I believe, Dell, and he is also based in, basically in Canada. So there's a big team. There's a lot of people. Like it's a very diversified team. More and more people are joining us as we go forward. She's our youngest student. Our youngest R&D analyst is actually 10 years old. That's another thing, right? He's our youngest CISSP guy who I believe in the age of at the age of like 20, 21, he passed his CISSP exam. Now he's doing his bachelor's, right? So there's a big team who is working with us and making sure like we are up to the par in terms of making sure that we are meeting all the requirements. So That's a quick overview of who started Vanima. So the key founders. So this is not an organization started by system administrators. No, this is not an organization started by um, students. No, this is an organization started and co-founded by industrial experts who has been working within the cybersecurity, offensive security, digital forensics, threat hunting, SCADA ICS, data science, artificial intelligence, sys operations, DevOps, SysOps, SecOps. These are the guys who have been working in all of these sectors at senior levels, right? So our goal is to ensure that we create professionals who are able to secure the jobs or who are able to start their own businesses and who are able to start and do their own things, whatever they want to do, if they want to work as a freelancer, whatever the case is, uh, throughout the world, right? There's a new guy who just joined us, Shamir Amir. There's a new guy, as I said, Shamir Amir. He has been working, um, he is classified as one of the most accomplished bug hunters worldwide. He has helped more than 400 organizations around the world, like namely Facebook, Microsoft, Yahoo, Twitter, in resolving critical security issues. Right? Nice chap, young chap. I would say that he has a lot of information, a lot of knowledge that he can share, and he wants to share with the community. And he's going to work with myself, with Tariq Mahmood, and all the key people within the organization to ensure that we are able to design things in a way that helps our students worldwide, right? That is our goal. That's like at a high level of who are the founders of Vanima. Now, Vanima, what does Vanima means? Vanima means spoils of war, as I said, right? It means when you fight battle, like in the times of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, uh, you know, there used to be spoils of war, right? So when you fight war, you always get bounties. So ghanima also means bounties or spoil of war. So that's how we came up with the name. Now, our key goal is not to become like platforms which are just teaching you how to hack into a given box. No. As a CISO, as a CIO working in the North America, I can tell you one thing, and in Europe. And this platform is global, so it is going in multiple languages. We are releasing our videos, our content, the video part, um, basically in French, in 26 plus languages, which are essentially spoken by more than 6 billion people out of the 8 billion population. So that's a big chunk, right? So if you are coming from Saudi Arabia, you speak Arabic, yes, or any within the Middle Eastern region, you speak Arabic, you're covered. You can consume content, watching videos and instructions in Arabic. If you're coming from China, Mandarin is there. If you're coming from Russia or the Russian states or all these Eastern European side, then Russian is available. If you are coming from Spain or from Latin America, Spanish is available. Now there is a slight change, I would say there's a slight difference between the Spanish of spoken in Spain and the Spanish spoken in Latin America, in South America, but it's not that. I would say yes, there's a dialect change, but it's not that big of a change that it should convert like that. We have to do all of those things from scratch now. So you can if you understand that, you can consume the content. If you're coming from Brazil or any of those countries where Portuguese is spoken, like Portugal, then yes, of course you can do that. If you're coming from Japan, you can take the course. If you're coming from South Korea, you can take the course, and the list goes on. So there's Malay, there's Indonesian, there's Turkish. I mean, all the 26 plus languages, as I said, spoken by 6 billion people on the face of the earth, you can take the courses. Now, here's the thing. Why are we doing this? People ask us why are you starting this platform? For the English speakers, all the content in the world is right now available for the English speakers predominantly, right? So that's where like predominant dominance is, like in terms of like providing content for the English speakers. Our focus is globally. Our focus is to make sure that we are able to uh, basically spread the knowledge, spread uh, basically the content, uh, teach them what is required, what you need to be successful, and within 6 to 9 months' time, maximum 12 months' time, you can be at that level that you can become, like you can go into cyber defense. There are more than 40 plus positions in there, different positions. You can go into offensive security. You can become a bug bounty hunter. You can go into digital forensics threat hunting. You can go into SCADA ICS. You can go to sysops. You can go to data science. All of these we are converging because the world has changed. Everything is converging towards data science and AI. And even these fields like cyber defense, offensive security, digital forensics, threat hunting, SCADA, ICS security, everything is converging towards there, right? So our goal is to make sure that we provide a one holistic platform where people can join in, and they can study all of these things quite easily. Now, one of the key things that is that nowadays, as per the World Economic Forum report, you don't need to have a degree per se. If you have a degree, that's great. But if you don't have a degree and you have the skill set, you can still secure these jobs. As per just within the cybersecurity area, as per the ISC Square Information System Security Consortium uh, research, just alone in North America, there are more than 1 million jobs, and they will keep on growing. Globally, just in cybersecurity, there are 3.5 to 4 million jobs available right now. This doesn't count freelancers. No, freelancers are separate. Freelancers is a bigger market, right? Some people, they don't want to work full time. They just want to work, part time, or they just want to run their own businesses, whatever the case is, right? So that's another key thing to notice. The other thing is just like in the sysops, if we add sysops, data science, AI, and mix it up all together, there are more than 100 million jobs available in the IT sector. So 100 to 200 million jobs are available as per the World Economic Forum report. There's cloud computing because cloud computing is a bigger part. There is DevOps, there is SecOps, right? There are so many avenues. So what this platform is doing, it is covering all of these avenues. We are not teaching you how to hack into a given box. No, there are no boxes. There are networks, first of all. And each network mimics a specific industry. So you will find a network for financial side, like payment processors and acquirers and merchants. These names may be alien to you right now, but as you go forward, you will understand what this really means. There are, there are networks mimicking banking sector, and they will be, and how they need to comply with FFIEC, which is the regulation as per the, as per the U.S. State Department, not the State Department, but basically the feds, as they regulate all of these banking regulations and whatnot. There's a separate body for that, but it comes under their jurisdiction. So there's a lot of, there's PCI DSS, there's a lot of controls, right? There's a lot of standards. So our focus is on all of these key areas. Our focus is not on just specific, things, just teaching you how to hack into a given box and keep on teaching you hacking into a given box. No. As a CISO, as a CIO, I've been working in the industry for for the past 20 plus years. And I can tell you one thing. And that thing is basically that when I used to interview people for manager positions, for director positions, for analyst positions, I didn't ask them to, hey, can you hack this box? No. I used to ask them, what do you know about PCI DSS? What are the key controls of PCI DSS? What are the key controls of SOC 1, Type 1, or type 2 or type 3 audits. How are we going to ensure that our network is secure and compliant with respect to these standards, right? So how are we going to perform an assessment? And how are we going to do and perform system hardening and all these kinds of key controls, like what is file integrity monitoring, what is security information event monitoring. I'm not going to ask him, tell me what is cross-site scripting. That is not an interview question, right? You have so many tools to perform these things. So essentially, if you are a CISO or a CIO, a Chief Information Security Officer or a Chief Information Officer, and if you have a budget of 10 million or 15 million or whatever the case is, or 1 million, depending on the size of your organization, the size of the penetration testing budget is this. It's this size. And the remaining size and the remaining budget basically, it has configuration hardening, implementation of web application firewall, implementation and of file integrity monitoring solution, user behavior analytics, security information event monitoring. There's so many other things that are need to be considered, right? There's gap assessment, there's audits, but the penetration testing audit or penetration testing, internal external penetration testing, or web application pen testing is this size. This is the size. The rest of them is different. So our focus is to give you that perspective rather than giving you just this perspective. So as I said, this platform was not created by system administrators or by students. No, this platform is created by the key people who have been working within the industry. So all the millions of jobs available globally, that you can work wherever you are, even if you're in Japan or in China or in Pakistan or in India or in Bangladesh or in Saudi Arabia, wherever you are, or in Argentina, Spain, whatever the case is. All of these jobs can be done right from the comfort of your home. Because of the COVID-19 and all these, pandemic issues, the physical borders are being erected, right? And the logical borders are disappearing. So all of these key jobs, you can work from home, you can work as a freelancer, you can work as part of, providing managed security services. There are so many areas that you can do. There's a lot of innovation that is still required there, that you can go in and you can do all of these things. So our goal at Vanima platform is to make sure that, you are prepared for the future. So if you have watched Back to the Future movie long ago, when I was young, I'm old now, so I saw Back to the Future and I was like mesmerized by the movie. Like he goes back to the future with Doc, and they see hovercrafts and those sneakers that can tighten up themselves and all these kinds of things, right? The key thing to note is that if I have a time machine and if I can go back to the future and see what is happening over there, in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, data science and AI will pretty much infuse themselves with everything there is on the face of the planet. It may happen in 10 years, it may happen in 15 years, it may happen in 20 years, but gradually it has already started. So if you study the key, in Islam, I'm a Muslim, in Islam, there are 5 key things that we follow, right? There is Tawheed. Tawheed means like oneness of God, right? There's only one God. There is Siyam, which means like fasting. There is Hajj, which means like that's a big you can say Muslims gather at one place to pray, right? It's a big ibadah, it's a big prayers, and you should do once in your lifetime, right? And then the 4th one is basically there is charity. You should give charity, right? So that's one more thing. And so essentially it's Shahada, oneness of God, there's prayers, and the last is prayers. You pray 5 times a day, right? So if I go back to the future, there are 5 pillars that will be standing. The first one is there will be CODS. CODS means, this is the term I have coined myself. C stands for cyber defense. O stands for offensive security. D stands for digital forensic threat hunting. And S stands for SCADA ICS. So there will be CODs that you need to focus on. Then there is sysops. You really need to be good in terms of using Linux, all the open source applications, open source operating systems. This is something that we teach. Then the third one is basically data science. That's another key element. You need to learn data science either in R or in Python. We're teaching in R, which is the course is complete, but there's also Python, which is coming up. So you can teach in R. If you learn in R, then you can easily learn in Python as well, right? Then the fourth one is basically Vanima labs, the labs that you have to do, because it teaches you all the key standards, everything with respect to the industry. And I'm going to show you what those are. And then the fifth one is basically emerging technologies, maths. Don't get overwhelmed with the mathematics part. It's very easy. We teach all of these things in a way that, and we relate these things to you with your day-to-day stuff, with your day-to-day life activities, right? So it's very easy. It's not that difficult. If you know plus, minus, multiply, and plus, minus, multiplication, and division, then you can do all the key mathematics parts that you need to understand, because that will give you the analytical mindset. You need that, right? So these are the 5 key elements which will converge together and will basically rule the industry in the coming days, in the coming years, right? So if you're part of that, if you know cybersecurity, governance, risk and compliance, and data science, and all these kinds of sysops and emerging technology, mathematics parts, all these things, you will be ready for the future part, right? So this is the reason we started this platform. We started this platform initially to cater like underserved population around the world, and now we are going globally. You don't need to have $10,000 required to do a course, at SANS. We want to become SANS one day, yes, but not for the rich, but for the underserved. That is our goal. If someone asks me, where do you want to see yourself in the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? I would say I want to become an institute where we can partner with the universities. We are working over there already right now with a couple of British universities, and become ISO 17024 certified. It's an expensive task. We are going towards that part, and then essentially become the SANS for the middle class and the poor class. Unfortunately, I should not be using this word, but essentially there are 3 classes in the world. There's the upper class, right? And then there's a middle class, and then there's a lower class or poor class, whatever the case is. We want to remove this distinction and say, you know what, education should be the right, the basic human right for every human being, and if he can't afford it, he should still be able to, on those top places. Now, I went to MIT, Stanford myself, right? But all of my life I've been studying through scholarships, right? But not everyone can get the scholarships. So this whole idea of starting anafe.com and Vanima.com came to me when I was taking a course, and I was studying at Stanford. So it's a long story, but what I'm trying to say is that my goal was to create a platform where we give people real skills that are required right now. The industries are looking for them right now. You can attain them, and you can go and do your business immediately or start working immediately within the industry. But it requires commitment. It requires commitment. It requires, there are 3 things that you need to bring on the table. You need to have a laptop, right? Any laptop with 8 gig RAM is more than enough. Essentially, that's more than enough. And if it has an SSD drive of 128 or 256, good enough, right? Because everything you will be able to do on the Vanima labs. The second thing you need is, dedication, that you can dedicate yourself, you can focus yourself. And the third is commitment of time. If you study every day for 2 hours a day minimum, and if you want to study for 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day, it's up to you, right? Uh, you can be successful in 6 to 9 months' time. Absolutely, yes, you can, right? You have to follow the path. We will outline the path for you, right? There are no shortcuts in life. If someone is telling you, that do this and you'll be able to earn like millions of dollars or something, or hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, he's misleading you. He's providing you incorrect information. I'm a practicing Muslim. In Islam, there's a hadith. Hadith means like the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said, a Muslim is a person who doesn't lie. So the interpretation is pretty straightforward. If you lie, are you really a Muslim or not? Right? So we should ask this question from our leaders, the leaders in the Islamic countries, right? So-called Islamic countries, right? The other is basically a Muslim is a person who doesn't cheat. Cheating is. I'm not going to talk about other people. I'm going to talk about the Islamic community at large. What is happening within the community. The community is very good, but there are people who lie and who cheat, right? And a Muslim is a person who takes care of their neighbors. Says neighbors. It doesn't say it's Muslim neighbors or, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had Jewish neighbors. So he used to take care of the Jewish neighbors, right? He had Christian neighbors, right? So regardless of whatever religion you come from, when we started this project, our goal was to ensure that there was a time that when Muslims used to come, when the non-Muslims used to come to the eastern side, eastern countries, the Middle Eastern part, to educate themselves. People used to come all over from, to Spain, Turkey, in the Iraq, and all these regions to understand mathematics, physics, chemistry, alchemy, so many other, biology, so many other, sciences, general sciences. And they used to go back and they used to practice those things. In the dark ages of Christianity, they were burned alive because if someone talks about science, physics, people will people will basically blame them of being, like doing witchcraft or something like that, and then they will be burnt alive on the stake. If you read the historical books, you will find those things. So that was not the case in the golden age of the Islam, because Islam started with the first ayah of the Quran, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of your Lord. The Muslims came to this world to do three things, and I say it openly. The first is basically, if you're a Muslim or if you want to become a Muslim, you have to commit to three things. You have to read and write, and you have to do this continuously, in both the religious education and in the scientific field. You have to do that. I'm doing my PhD now, right? After all these years, I'm not like didn't want it to become like a PhD of books only. No, I wanted to become a PhD of hands-on skills, right? So a Muslim came to this world to read and write. The Muslim came to this world to follow the commands of Allah, the God, and his last messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the third is to implement, the God, the Quran, the book of the Muslims, the Quran, the last book that was revealed to us, and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad in their lives, right? So this is what we came for. Like as a Muslim, if someone asks me, why are you here, that is my answer, right? I'm a religious man. I follow my own convictions. I have strong convictions on many things. I have strong beliefs, right? If someone wants to debate with me, they can come to my home and they can debate about all the things that they want to do. But the platform is available to everyone. It is available to everyone from any walks of life. They want to come in. But how we are teaching and how we are doing these things, it's in the same way as the Muslims used to teach long ago. For 1,000 years, the Ottoman Empire and all these different Muslim empires were there, right? Ottoman Empire was like, they had quite a long run per se. Ottoman Empire like lasted like around 600 years, plus minus, right? That was the golden age of the Muslims. Uh, and then like because even Google, admits that because of the Muhammad Musa al-Khwarizmi, who is the inventor of the algebraic equations and whatnot, you know, uh, Google is there. Otherwise, if he wouldn't have created like these things, you know, or wouldn't have been blessed by God to do all of these things, then there would be no Google per se. All these algorithms, they run on various algebraic equations, right? So that's the key thing. That's the key motivation for us to spread knowledge, to spread education, to spread a good dialogue with all the people around the world, what Islam really is, what exactly are our, if you're living in the West, what are the moral obligations we have to comply with, right? Internally and externally, all of these things, they do matter, right? So this is why we started this platform. Our goal is to basically make this platform global. There are so many people joining us. If you believe that you can play a vibrant role in spreading the key knowledge, then absolutely join us. We are looking for people to become our ambassadors, to spread the knowledge and whatnot. I mean, I've been giving dawah, preaching for a long time, 20 plus years now, more than that. Wherever I used to go and meet people, they were depressed. They didn't have jobs. They didn't have any money. So I used to tell them over there and then, look, I'm here to give you dawah, but you know what? Study this, you will get a job. Do this, and you will get a job. I used to do that in UK when I was there, right? So when I used to move around in Europe, I used to do the same thing. So people need a good living. And I can guarantee you, inshallah means like God willing, I can guarantee you, inshallah, that if you study on this platform for 9 to 12 months' time with dedication and support and follow these 5 pillars, which is CODS, SysOps, data science, Vanima labs, and emerging maths, if you follow these 5 areas, you can secure a job wherever you are, whether you are in North America, South America, in Europe, in Asia, in Oceania, which is like Australia, New Zealand, and all these, Malaysia and all these countries, except Antarctica, you can go wherever you want. I mean, you will only find penguins over there, and penguins are not really concerned about internet right now, right? Or managing any kind of infrastructure. Though Antarctica is a great place to open a data center because no cooling required, right? You might need to create a lot of heat to manage basically all the data centers. I mean, like all the computer systems of the world. It's a great place to manage many of those things. Essentially, you will be required to create some heat rather than cooling down, because no matter how fast you run, things will still cool down, right? So that's a great place. But essentially, as I said, out of those 7 continents, you can find jobs in all the 6 continents of the world, right? So even if you're in Asia, you're in Oceania, North America, South America, Europe, right? I mean, wherever you want to go, you can find jobs. This is where the future is going, right? So don't waste your time and organize yourself, do research, and then join. In Islam, in Quran, and I will, keep on quoting those things because this is how I operate. In Quran, in Surah Hujurat, Allah says that if a person comes to you with information, verify it. That ayah, that verse was specifically for addressing basically, fake news or fake information or incorrect information. So if a person comes to you with something, verify it. So my recommendation to you is go and do research, find where the jobs are, and if you go and open any of those, you know, uh, basically any of those pages, job sites, posting pages, or whatever the case is, type in cybersecurity, type in Linux, type in sysops, type in DevOps, type in offensive security, type in ISO 27001, all of these key areas, and you will find jobs. I mean, there's the key list is pretty big, and what we are trying to do is we are trying to teach you 5 key areas that can land you a job wherever you want. That is our goal. That is our goal. So this was a quick message from the founder. I mean, it took 35 minutes, but it will be dubbed into multiple languages, and you can listen to this in your own language, whatever you speak. But welcome to the platform. Welcome to Vanima Labs. Welcome to Anafe, and I will see you in my class. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.